This is the Mike and Ansel podcast. Just want to say, hey, welcome in everyone. And I want to welcome my co-host. But before I do, real quick, man, we got some exciting adventure that turned tragedy. A presumed human remains recovered from within the Titan wreckage, U.S. Coast Guard say today. This is absolutely crazy.
Yes, it is. It's been tragic, but it goes to show you how risky it is to be in anything that's, not necessarily ready for use, in terms of technology. And, they did everything they did it with Kevlar and they mixed it with titanium and anyway.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So we just want to pause for a few seconds of silence for all the souls that were lost. Absolutely tragic.
Yep.
May you rest in peace.
Yep, and all five of them, including the OceanGate CEO, who was piloting the submersible. So it was, I think we've all been, if you're on social and you're on your computer or your phone looking at headlines, then obviously it's probably been on your mind and you've probably had discussions about it with your family and friends and coworkers. And just like we have as we watch this whole tragedy unfold. And I've probably watched more on YouTube this week about submersibles than I've ever watched in my entire life. And I might not be alone because I think a lot of you might be in the same boat or sub as me. When it comes
no pun intended there.
Well, pun intended, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we so it was five humans who lost their lives tragically, and the Titanic's wreckage tourism, a new company decided to create and build a touring submersible.
Yep.
Submarine.
Yep, and it's been so think about it. Titanic wrecked into an iceberg because they were ill-equipped and not prepared to go through there at a slower speed, even though there were reports of icing, and because they wanted to meet a deadline. The theory is the captain was basically told by White Star Cruise Line or White Star, which was the company that owned the Titanic and three or four others, big, huge ships. They wanted them to get to New York in a certain amount of time.
Trying to make record time.
Yes. And I don't know if it was record time, but they wanted them there in like 4 days. So they were speeding through this area that was prone to having icing and icebergs being seen. And so their tragedy is they had a state-of-the-art, new ship that was bigger than any ship ever made, and it ran into a little iceberg, and it killed 1,400, or I don't remember the total, but 1,500 people, and it sunk. It was supposed to be unsinkable, so right. a lot of the people felt like they were safe even after it started sinking. Now you have OceanGate, which is this company,
right,
and through the same kind of circumstances where they're trying to do something that nobody else was doing, which is bring customers that are paying to go see the Titanic wreckage and do something new. And now these people, their lives have ended in similar fashion.
Tragically.
So if the Titanic hadn't sunk, then this wouldn't have happened, right?
So those of you that are just joining us, tuning in, this is the Mike and Ansel podcast. And wow, Ansel described earlier to me that the submersible submarine imploded. So basically, get an aluminum can, empty it, stand on it, and then you wait and go like that, and it just collapses. So that's what happened. Imagine an aluminum can, if you stood on it and then put some weight on it and just smashed it to the ground, it just flattened it. And unfortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah, and think about the timing too. It doesn't in a submersible. It doesn't just start failing, and then you notice, like in a movie, you'd see like pinhole leaks, right?
Right.
If you were watching a movie, it'd be like leaks like popping, and you're like, oh my
The
gosh, oh
rivets
my gosh.
start popping.
Yeah. That doesn't happen when you're 4,000 meters under the ocean,
Right.
like they were. You have no real warning, so it's just.
And it just smashed.
And then it
collapse,
falls apart. And it's faster than, it's like 30 milliseconds. So imagine how fast that is. If I pinch my finger, it takes 100 milliseconds for me to feel it, for my brain to register the pain.
They were dead before they felt it.
So the good news is that they didn't feel anything. It happens too fast.
Instantly.
Yeah. Now there could have been creaking. They don't know. There could have been creaking, so they might have had some warning. And I could see the OceanGate CEO going, "Oh, we're all right. We hear that a lot because they have heard that." And I could imagine him saying, "Yeah, this happens. It's okay because we've been down 12 times." And some people have reported that they heard creaking like in 2019. So I could imagine him saying that, and then all of a sudden,
just pancakes.
Yep. And I did read that you're kind of just turned into soup. But they did say this article that you were reading says that it looks like presumed human remains were recovered in the wreckage. And I saw them. If you go and you look on and you just Google this, you'll see photos and video of the wreckage. It's on YouTube. I don't know which channel on YouTube, but there are channels on YouTube that have the footage of them bringing the wreckage off. And one thing that if you've been watching this, you would have seen how they made the submersible, because they have video rolling about how it was created.
Well, real quick before you continue, let me read this. So those of you that are with us right now, so this is on the pieces of the mangled craft brought ashore in Newfoundland, Canada, after 5 killed on voyage to Titanic wreck. God, kind of tongue twister there. So Wednesday,
Newfoundland.
Yep, Newfoundland. So presumed human remains have been recovered from within the wreckage of the Titan, the submersible that imploded on a voyage to the Titanic earlier this month. The U.S. Coast Guard reported on Wednesday. The Coast Guard will transport the evidence recovered from the North Atlantic to the U.S. port, where medical professionals will conduct a formal analysis of remains, officials said. I was in the Marine Corps, and I wasn't stationed on a nuclear submarine, but we did some training exercises on a nuclear submarine, and I remember being in those things. I can't disclose on how deep we went, but I can tell you I could probably reach out and touch something. Can't tell you what that is I would be able to touch, but I'm letting you know those
aliens?
things.
Aliens?
Maybe an alien.
We have to bring aliens up on every show.
And fitness. We'll talk about working out a little bit. So, it's amazing how deep it penetrates the ocean.
Yeah, I believe it. Was it scary?
No, it was they're so big. It just seems like it just felt like you're on the, it was actually kind of cool. Anybody ever watch Star Trek?
Yes, all the time.
Star Trek, the Enterprise, being on the bridge. It was similar to that, except not oval, but more narrow.
Cylindrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so it wasn't oval like the Star Trek, but it was the same type of, just everything was like
Yeah, and pretty long, right?
Yeah, it was correct.
Okay.
And they had different levels, and man, it was just, it was amazing. The technology back then, which I know the new technology now is even more superior, but just, man, it's a cool feeling of being underway in a submarine. And I get that this company wanted to share this experience with the world and do tourism, but Yeah, unless you have the money to back it up to do an amazing, an offensive amount of money that gets thrown into these nuclear submarines. I'm telling you, these things are built sturdy and just rugged as can be. Unfortunately, I haven't even seen. I'm looking at the metal right now. Look how thin this metal is. That metal is really thin. You see that?
Oh, you're talking about no, that's the sheathing. So that's over the actual Kevlar cylinder. So
Okay.
if you watch videos on how they made it, the Kevlar cylinder was like 8 inches thick in a cylinder.
Okay.
And NASA actually worked.
Speaking of NASA,
I wish they were our sponsor, but they're not.
hey, we went to Houston and got some NASA things. Hey, thank you for the likes. Thanks for being here today. This is the Mike and Ansel podcast show.
So NASA,
Thank you for the likes, Firefly. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. NASA actually consulted with them to build this submersible, and it was like, if you look how they made it, they had machining going all around, and it's adhered together by basically glue or adhesive.
Adhesive glue.
Yep. So
and a submarine.
And then the cap
that dissolves when instantly mixed with salt water. Oh, the ocean water.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. So he actually stated in some of his interviews, hey, I broke rules. You don't usually put things like titanium together with Kevlar or other materials for a submersible, but I did it. And he was thinking he was safe. But in fact, he was admitting the fatal flaw, which is I put two different materials that don't normally be. See, the Kevlar is used in more aircraft stuff. So
that's more air pressure.
That's his game. That's where he came from, as the aircraft world. And so what he was doing, and he's educated highly at Princeton, I believe.
Was?
Yale or Princeton, he was educated, yes. And he was putting this together like you would an experimental aircraft. So now this is an experimental submersible.
That would have been a red flag for me.
Well, this is what this was. And he was he was getting people to pay $250,000 for a trip down. And he made them sign waivers stating that, hey, you can't, you might die because this is experimental. So everybody that got on there knew that they were at risk. So it's not like he led anybody astray, and caused this and caused them to decide to go down there. They had to pay big money to go down, and it did cost them their lives. So, but the experimental aircraft part of this did not work with the underwater part of this. And I think that was the big mistake that he made, is that Kevlar with the titanium. And if you look in those pictures, it'll show the titanium cap, which has the window that you look out when you're down in the submersible. It's where you actually see the Titanic, and it's just a little hole like this big. Look,
they have sheets over this. I'm wondering if there's bodies in there.
Yeah, they had sheets over everything, so that kind of made me feel like, why are they covering everything up? But the hole is like this big, and so that's what they're looking out of, and they sit on the floor in the submersible in a cylinder, and they drive it with a game controller.
Right.
That's how they drive it.
Oh, wow.
2 monitors.
Operate it.
Or 3 monitors.
It's called navigating underway.
Yeah, navigating underway is with a game controller.
Yep.
And but when it imploded, it looks like the cap, which was undamaged. I mean, it looked like it does in the videos when it's on the unit, and it was all together. It looked like the glass had popped out. Whatever the window was, I think it was plexiglass. The window that looked like it was gone. And then the ring that held this titanium thing onto the cylinder, the Kevlar cylinder, it was loose. So it was by itself. So it looked like it compressed, and all that just flung off. Now, titanium's strong, so I don't think it was damaged at all. It was the Kevlar that was probably failing over a long period of time since they started diving. And that's what I've read, is that these things, repeated use, it's not like aircraft, where you're flying it all the time in normal pressure.
I feel like air versus salt water.
Well, you get higher, it's less pressure than
Right.
down here.
Right.
You get lower into the sea, it's
Enormous amount of pressure.
enormous.
Well, plus you got the weight of all the water in the world.
Yep.
No pun intended.
So you have the whole. There's a term for it when you go up. It's atmospheres,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you go down, it's atmospheres too. But it's negative atmosphere. I guess it's lower.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong about that, but it is atmospheres, and the pressure is so great that every time that ship goes down, it's doing this, right? It's compressing. It's getting a lot of pressure on it. So over time, that material that was adhered together is probably loosening. And then, unlike anything else up here, when you spring a leak down there, you don't just spring a leak, you're just gone.
Right.
There's no warning other than maybe creaking, which I think was happening a lot in that submersible.
Yep.
So it's pretty freaky.
So it's fathoms going down, and then atmospheres in the air.
It's fathoms going down and atmospheres going up.
Well, there is another term, and for this life of me, I'm a diver, and for some reason I can't.
And you're an engineer. Come on, man.
Yes.
Hey, you have lots of like little things that you can bring to this discussion. If we had more time, and maybe we can do a special broadcast on it.
Well, we'll have to do a follow-up for sure, because I know we have limited time here for tonight. But hey, those of you that are here, subscribe. Definitely subscribe to our new channel. Would love to have you here. It's the Mike and Ansel podcast, the Mike and Ansel Show on YouTube. Check it out, streaming near you. We also go live on social media. I'm currently live. We got about 27 folks here on social media, and we actually are broadcasting around the world in numerous countries. And hey, in the chat, let us know what country, what city, what state in America, in Canada. We get people from Australia, New Zealand, Wales, from all over the world. The UK, yeah, so it's British, Columbia, everywhere. So we appreciate you guys coming in for sure. This tragedy is horrible. If you have any insight, if you want to share that, let us know. Hey, we can also have callers come in. So if you want to be a caller, let us know, and we'll give you our 800 number. Actually, no, it's a toll number.
Well, nobody cares about that anymore unless they're worldwide. I think you can't even call international though.
Well, I have my the internet number. We can probably give that out, and people can call from other countries.
That would be really cool to start doing that on this show.
Well, I have that on my computer. We just need to hook it up, and for some reason,
that would just be another audio input for the show. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
We can figure that out. We'll test
it'll
that.
go from here straight to. I'll just unplug this one and put that one in.
Okay. All right. That works. I would love to start doing that. That way we can have discussions on here pertinent to the show.
Absolutely.
And that would be fun. So let's do a follow-up, and maybe you can bring some of your engineering background into this, do a little bit of research on it. And
I'm looking forward to seeing, interesting. So I do investigation. So when I was reading the part about they're going to be doing an investigation and a deep dive of the wreckage to find out, the pieces, try and no pun intended, submersible, putting the pieces together, doing a deep dive into this, creating an analogy of what occurred, what happened, why it happened, and doing some research. But, you pretty much called it out a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead.
What's this? Let me see that.
This is Optimus Prime.
So I just want to show our team here on social media. So Ansel, his wife got this for him, and this is pretty cool because he's got an amazing story to go along with this. Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear it. Let everyone know.
Yeah, just real quickly. So Peter Cullen, who's the voice of the character Optimus Prime and all of the Transformers franchise. So in other words, the cartoons, the video games, the movies. He is the voice of Optimus Prime. And I met him through NASA and my work at NASA. So We have NASA and Optimus Prime together right here, which my friend Daryl would be excited about, I think, if he saw that. And Peter and I became friends at the final space shuttle launch after I serenaded him and made him cry. And at that point, we were connected, and we started working on some NASA projects together with Daryl. And before you know it, I had finished Our Country, the song, which is on my YouTube channel if you just go to Ansel Brown on YouTube. And man, he agreed to narrate the video. And he wrote me an amazing quote after he finished it.
Wow.
And I'll have to share that quote. I don't have it in front of me, but it is an amazing quote. And it's about the song and what I was doing for veterans. And it just blew me away that he was willing to help me on my video and just be a part of it. You know, his brother was a Marine.
Oh, geez.
And his brother, I think he died from cancer, but he was a highly decorated Vietnam vet.
Wow.
So Peter has a very big heart for the military and the servicemen and women, everybody that served. He is a huge backer of our veterans. Men
and women in uniform.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hey, appreciate you sharing that story with us. And I know we're getting close to the end here. So, hey, everyone, we want to just thank you all for coming here. And don't forget to ask you politely, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Definitely check it out. Go to YouTube and search the Mike and Ansel Podcast or the Mike and Ansel Show. Actually, it's show, not podcast. I keep saying that. It's the Mike. Actually, we need to get our banner behind us here. That's going to help us.
Yeah, and since we're doing a show on YouTube, we will also have it in podcast form. So you're not exactly wrong.
Yes.
So we will be able to, use these vocal or voice only or audio only for our podcast.
Exactly. So, hey, soon we're going to be, so we have an account for Podbean, Spotify, let's see. Oh, Apple. I signed up for Apple Pod as well.
Yep. And we should probably look at starting a Patreon account as well.
Oh, I heard about that one. Yeah. That's right. Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome in social media. We appreciate you guys all being here. We're wrapping up. We're at the end of our show. And don't forget to subscribe to Seriously Sophia. Check her out on social media. We got to give a little plug to the little 2.5-year-old. So she's amazing. And her YouTube channel is Seriously Sophia. And don't forget to go to the Mike and Ansel Show. And also, hey, my podcast. I have the Iron Man Mike show tomorrow night, Thursday nights, and don't forget Ansel. What's yours? Go ahead and plug yours.
You're talking about YouTube?
Yes.
Ansel Brown. Just
Ansel Brown.
Yep.
So Ansel Brown, Mike Ureta, check us both out. We'd love to have you as subscribers. We have some really cool content coming up, and hey, we got our audio going, so we're excited.
Got our video
and a new camera, guys,
and our audio, and everything looks so much better now. We just need better lighting, and like you said, we'll fix the wall back here to display the Mike and Ansel Show logo on a brick wall. And we're excited about getting the sound finally fixed. We're doing this on our own. We don't really have a third person to help us with sound and mixing and things like that. So, Mike is trying to mix, live as we go. And each Wednesday we've had an issue with the sound really not going through the system. So we apologize for the inferior sound previously, and we think we have had a breakthrough today.
Yes, we think we figured it out.
So we took a little time instead of doing the normal hour and a half. Since we didn't have any guests to visit us today, we decided that we would spend the first part of our show time really trying to figure out the audio issues and get those worked out. And then we had enough time to do a 25-minute, 30-minute show with you guys, which is what we're doing now. And we're excited that we finally sound good enough, I think, to actually use this as a podcast, because that's the problem with the past stuff is it's been the ambient not
The sound has
Yeah.
been horrible.
been really bad, and so we apologize for that, and we're trying to become more professional.
It only took 100 shows to figure it out.
I mean, it is what it is, and that's what they actually say. Like Mr. Beast on YouTube is like one of the biggest.
Yep.
He said, do 100 videos and then start thinking about it. 'Cause he's like, it takes you 100 videos just to kind of learn what you're doing and
Exactly.
get better at it. So we're not there yet. We're not at 100, luckily.
Oh, well, I'm at
Well,
100.
You're at 100 recorded.
Yes,
That
that's
you have
true.
not shown anybody.
Yes,
So
I've been doing the radio, the Iron Man Mike show, since I believe it was January 2020,
okay, that's
right
awesome.
before COVID kicked in.
Yep. And so you were doing a ton of shows, and we could show clips from those for some of our shows, which would be kind of cool because then we can talk about what you talked about with that guest, and we can kind of have a chat about it. That would be kind of neat
Yes,
because you had some cool guests.
yes.
And
We should get some of these guests to come back.
yeah, I think once we get this studio and the new space worked out and we figure it all out, we can do a lot of stuff. So
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about what we've got now. I'm excited that we've got the camera fixed and the sound fixed all in one day, and we are ready to go forward.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you very much. And hey, final thoughts?
You know, look at your family and know that you have today, and always keep it like that in your mind. You have today. And don't let time pass by and think that, everything's going to be hunky-dory every day. Just take today and live it and make the most of it with the people you love. And I think I'm learning to do that with my daughter.
There you go.
And it's been really cool because now I want to do things because we're filming it, but we're filming it together and we're filming it in an interactive way. So I'm like, suddenly it's like, hey, do you want to go do this? Do you want to go do that? Do you want to go do this? And it used to not be like that. It used to be like, hey, I'll go. Yeah. Because I'm, unless it's like Disney World, right? I'm like,
Right,
okay,
right.
yeah, I'm so tired, but yeah, I'll go.
No, it's great bonding.
Yeah. Now it's like, I want to go. And
Yep.
it's because we're having so much fun together as a father and daughter. So
Yep.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I can't.
Only reason why I said the part about that is because of the tragedy that we've all seen unfold, and you just never know. And we all want to be here tomorrow, but we may not be, and we've got to realize that
Right.
today. We can't realize that when it's too late.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my final thoughts for tonight are the following. Make every day count like it's your last. Your body is like a temple. Only put good things in it.
That's my problem.
And your body, if you take care of your body now, your body will take care of you into old age. And my grandfather taught me, hey, floss only the teeth you want to keep. That's it. With that, we are out for the night, and we want to thank you so much for being faithful listeners. And don't forget to subscribe to our channels. We'll go ahead and attach them to the link on YouTube. And thank you so much for being here, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.